Well, guys, I think the three of us would much rather dedicate this episode to talking about European football. But unfortunately, this is an EPL podcast, and this is Red Card Radio. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whenever you're listening from. Thanks for tuning in. Red Card Radio is a weekly look at the Premier League from three friends who support different clubs. My name is James. I support Arsenal. That guy up top is Brad. He supports Chelsea. Down below is Sean. He supports Tottenham. First and foremost, Brad, welcome back. We missed you last week.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
Yeah. So if what we're doing tonight, we're taking a look at round 33 in the Premier League. And if you listened last week, you saw and heard the kind of the setup for this week was that there was a lot of top five implications, Champions League qualification implications this week. Between Newcastle, Villa, Forest, City, Chelsea, Aston Villa. Did I say Villa twice? Newcastle? I don't think I said Newcastle. Anyway.
Well, it's apropos that you said Villa twice because they came up twice. So.
Yeah, true. So we're going to be diving into a couple matches that really tremendously dealt with that situation specifically. And we will spare a thought for a team that has fallen, a team that is plummeting back down to the championship. But before we do all of that, if you could hit that subscribe button, ring the sub notification bell if you're on one of the podcast sites, and I remembered to upload it to our podcast, to the RSS feed and all that stuff. Thanks for listening. Hit the subscribe button, ring whatever kind of notification icon or whatever the platform so allows. Comment, rate, review, all that stuff. Hit the share button and send it to a friend or a colleague. All those things help us tremendously. And without further ado, we really hope you enjoy this. So, the big matches.
You got something wrong. We're not relegated yet, James.
Oh yeah. Well,
we're not going back to the. We've never been to the championship.
Interesting you say that. With Arsenal and Liverpool's win this weekend, it is mathematically impossible for Manchester United and Tottenham to be relegated from the Premier League. So unfortunate.
Thank you.
Unfortunate that Arsenal saved Spurs bacon this weekend by beating Ipswich.
Do you remember 2 years ago when we had a will Chelsea hit 40 points counter and we were and it went for months?
Yes.
Tottenham do not have 40 points.
Let's get the Spurs count down.
It is 33 games played. Tottenham do not have 40 points.
I will be honest. I forgot that we did that for Chelsea.
It was hilarious for you and I.
Do you guys remember like 4 or 5 years ago when Arsenal were 8th and they were talking about will Arsenal get relegated? Where's that?
We were. Yeah.
Where's that same energy with Tottenham in 17th or wherever the heck you guys are?
We've been having that energy, sir.
Anyway, okay, so the champion. We're just gonna say the Champions League qualification spots because I hate top 5 sounds stupid, in my opinion, and that's the only opinion that matters when I'm speaking. So,
what?
The Champions League
is the host.
Champions League qualification. You can refer to it however you want to, Bad, but the qualification for Champions League, obviously super important in the Premier League. If you're not going to win the league, you want to be qualifying for next year's Champions League. And Newcastle did a lot to help themselves since the last time we recorded. They beat Palace a week ago Wednesday, so a week ago, and then they beat Villa on Saturday. And beating Villa, I take that back. Villa beat Newcastle. Sorry, I'm thinking a week ago on the weekend.
Yep.
So they won twice last week, but then they lost to Villa at the weekend. And then Chelsea beat Fulham. So Fulham are officially not in the conversation for the Champions League, maybe the Conference League. They were only very minorly in it last week. They
9 points to Villa. I don't think Bournemouth or Fulham are really that's tough.
I agree. I don't think they're in the Champions League hunt anymore. They could potentially sneak a Conference League. And then this we had a game on Monday and a game on Tuesday with Spurs and Forest. Forest beat Spurs at White Hart Lane 2-1, and then yesterday City beat Aston Villa 2-1. So where that leaves us is in the table specifically is that City are now up to third. They're on 61 points. Forest are in fourth on 60 points. Newcastle are in fifth on 59 points, Chelsea on 57 points, Villa on 57 points. Now, in that range, City and Villa have played one more game than all the other teams. So it's looking good for City, looking good for Forest, looking good for Newcastle, not looking good right now for Chelsea or Villa.
I mean, it just depends on results, right? Like that, the Forest Chelsea game at the end of the season, well, because we all playing each other. Like we play Newcastle soon. We play Newcastle in 3 weeks.
Okay.
We play we play Forest the last week.
It was funny the way you said that.
I know, because of course it depends on results, right?
It reminds me, we're all F1 fans, so it reminds me of Will Buxton from Drive to Survive saying that, the most important part of the weekend is qualifying because it determines where you start the race from. But yes, obviously the results matter. And it's a very salient point that you bring up, Brad, is that a lot of these teams are playing each other.
Yeah. So like there are points to be won, there are points to be lost, and like points that matter, right? Because we talk about 6-point swings. That's actually generally what can happen here, is that you're denying a top 5 competitor 3 points, which becomes huge if you can bring those 3 points to the table.
It certainly matters.
No, I'm not going to say that my team is out.
No, and I would certainly not say that either.
It's getting cheeky. It's getting tight.
Well, it definitely did get tight because on the weekend, on the midweek, Newcastle went to third.
Yes.
On the weekend, Forest went to third. And now City have played in preparation for an FA Cup game. City have played an extra game. Now they have gone to third. So it is just a constant leapfrog right there. Just shuffling of the cards in that little mixing bowl.
I'd be really interested to see one of those charts, the line graphs that charts the relative movement based on like the last 10 match weeks, or the last 10 rounds in the league. I think it would be really interesting because there's going to be a lot of fluidity throughout that top 5 battle. If we had to gun to your head, Brad,
yeah,
with the fixtures that Chelsea has coming up, do you think Chelsea get it done? Now, of course you're going to say yes because you picked Chelsea to win the league, but
I think we sneak 5th. I don't.
Okay.
I'm like it. I'm not gonna like. I think we get past either Forest or United, and I want to say we get past Forest.
So you guys
let me see who their matches are.
Brad, let me ask you something. If you sneak 5th, you eke it out, you fight your gosh darn shorts off, and y'all sneak into 5th. You're in the Champions League. However, Tottenham win the Europa League and snatch your spot, and you're in your.
I don't think they wouldn't snatch the spot.
Listen, that's not the thing that Tottenham can do. So I'm not worried. It's
Europa,
not like when
Europa
Chelsea
winner gets the Champions invite.
Yes, they do.
Correct, but it does not
So it would
affect
be
the
an
5
extra?
places. Yes.
So there would be 6 Champions League teams.
Correct.
Yes.
England,
so there was a way that like
Boom.
10 teams in Europe, 10 teams in
Boom.
England could be playing European football next year.
Boom.
Yeah, see, that was only a thing.
I want to take spots.
I know, and I know why you wanted that because the one time then when Tottenham finished 4th and I think Chelsea finished 7th that year, we won the Champions League and took your spot. I know, it hurt, but yeah, that is no longer a thing anymore.
I've seen some interesting anecdotes this week that every year after the year that a pope dies, an English team wins the Champions League, and Francis just passed away. So who's the only English team left in the Champions League? Just saying, it's looking good. It's looking good for your boy.
I don't know.
I would really, really enjoy it. Obviously, I dislike City. Obviously, I dislike Chelsea. But I would really enjoy it if Forest, Newcastle, and Villa finished in the top 5. I think it would. I don't know if it would be good for England and our coefficient in the Champions League. I don't know if it would help us, but I think it would be. It would certainly be. I would be very happy to see maybe the 2 least moral clubs in England out of the Champions League, not in the Champions League.
Yeah. Newcastle did not cobbled together a very good showing last time they were in the Champions League, and
They were
sorry, Joel, for that. But
I don't know. They got
they were
screwed. They got screwed by VAR against PSG.
well, they were out pretty early and finished fourth in that group. Now Villa last year or this year,
that was a techie group. They may have finished fourth.
They were in the group of death. They were in the group of death,
and it came down to the last match week.
Yeah, and if they didn't get screwed by VAR at the Parc des Princes, they would have
gone through.
They would have gone through
easily.
So I take umbrage with what you said, Sean.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we don't take umbrage here lightly,
sir.
I do take umbrage to Tottenham's gameplay on the weekend
against Forest.
Yes, I will take credit that I darn near called the goals to the minute. I said that there will be Chris Wood in the second minute, and it was their midfield player. I'm
Anderson.
blanking on the name. And Anderson in the fourth. I said it would be Alenga in the 27th, and it was Chris Wood in the 22nd. And then I said we would get a garbage time goal in the 78th minute. We got a garbage time goal in the 87th minute.
Yeah.
So I darn near called it.
It was impressive. It's in our Discord if you want to fact check it. It's actually pretty impressive, the claim.
I did give them an extra goal, though. Yeah, I gave them a goal in the 47th minute. That didn't happen.
But they did put the ball in your net at least 3 times.
Yeah. So you weren't wrong.
So.
Well, speaking of putting the ball in the net, I wasn't sure that anyone on Tottenham knew where the opposing net was. That's how abhorrent the shot selection was. And no one could hit it. Everyone was slicing it. Tell had a left-footed shot near post that he somehow hit a 90-degree to the left. I don't know how that happened.
Yes, that was bad. That was not good.
He had an open near post and just decided to hit it that way for some reason.
It was not good.
Sarr sliced it so bad it was actually rolling down the goal line.
I saw that. It was so close. Yeah.
It went that way and rolled towards the flag, and was it just incredible how bad this was. I think Davies landed a ball in Norwich somehow. It had to have left the stadium. It was so high.
Jack Wilshere called and said he needed another ball for his running practices over there.
I don't know. Richarlison missed about 3 headers. Missed the goal completely on about 3 headers. There wasn't even saved. There was no point in Matt Sells even contributing to the day. He could have just stood still, and we still wouldn't have. We still would have just
only scored 1 goal. Yeah.
Impressive. But just like Leicester's chances to stay up in the Premier League,
I forgot.
I think we're done with round 33.
So they are.
Stay tuned later. Stay tuned later this week. We'll have a preview for match week 34. It looks like we got some FA Cup semis to talk about as well, with some implications to European football. Besides that, James, I forget how you end this.
I'm just gonna let you cook, and then I'm gonna hit the stop. I'm gonna hit the stop recording button. So you cook, bro.
Cook it up.
I try to do the freeze frame. All right, guys. If you haven't already, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, send it to your friends, post it on social medias. I am at KS Brad G, following the greatest team in London. He is at James Tiffany, not following the greatest team in London.
False.
He is Whiteheart_Sean, and just like I'm pointing down, that's what you gotta do to find his team on the table. Collectively, we are here. We are at redcard_radio on both the X and the Instagrams. Till later this week with our preview. We'll see you then.